Welcome to the legal twilight zone, where modern laws trip over their own logic. 1. The town where you're legally required to smile. In one small Illinois town, they genuinely made cheerfulness mandatory. Yes, mandatory, like jury duty, but with teeth. The law technically bans sullen expressions within city limits, meaning you're legally supposed to beam like a deranged golden retriever at all times. The original idea was to promote tourism, because nothing says, "visit us," like forced emotional labor. Imagine getting pulled over not for speeding, but for resting your face in its natural default setting. If the cops ever needed evidence, all they'd have to do is whip out your DMV photo, because nothing captures joy like a government-issued camera. 2. The state that outlawed making annoying faces at dogs. Minnesota really woke up one day and said, "You know what the dogs need? Legal protection from weird humans." Their animal cruelty laws include a clause banning intentional gestures meant to provoke or annoy a police dog, which sounds reasonable, until you realize the definition of annoying is basically whatever the dog decides. So imagine standing there, absolutely minding your own business, and a German Shepherd decides your eyebrows are disrespecting his authority. Congratulations, you're under arrest for dog-based emotional harassment. Some people get charged for assault. Others get charged for pulling a face so goofy that a dog took it personally. 3. The city, where it's illegal to sit on a sidewalk. Ever in parts of California, sitting on a public sidewalk, simply bending your knees into a sitting position, that can get you a hefty fine. Not blocking traffic, not causing a problem, just sitting. The idea was to reduce loitering, but instead it created a world where the pavement is apparently emotionally fragile and must be protected at all costs. You could run a marathon on that sidewalk, dance the Macarena on it, propose marriage on it. But the moment your butt touches cement, boom, you're an outlaw with glutes of destruction. Some places criminalize violence. California criminalized relaxation. 4. The city where you need a permit to be a fortune teller. In several U.S. cities, fortune telling is considered so dangerously powerful that you need an official government permit to do it. Yes, the same government that can't predict potholes suddenly wants to regulate your ability to predict love and career success. To get approved, applicants must prove they're not frauds, which is wild because the whole point of fortune telling is pretending to see the future. Imagine being interviewed by a bureaucrat who asks, "And how exactly did you know your neighbor will meet a tall, dark stranger?" If your tarot cards say your permit will be approved, congratulations. You've already broken the law by practicing without one. Nothing says mystical wisdom like paperwork. 5. The town that bans ice cream cones. In your back pocket. In Kentucky, there's an old law still technically on the books making it illegal to carry an ice cream cone in your back pocket. No reason, no context, just vibes. The original logic? It supposedly discouraged horse thieves who would lure horses away using the sweet smell while pretending they weren't actually stealing anything. So yes, horses were once outsmarted by a frozen dairy dessert. In modern times, you're not summoning a stampede. You're just an idiot with sticky pants. Imagine explaining this to an officer. "Sir, I swear it's not theft. I just ran out of hands." Kentucky, where your dessert can become evidence. 6. The law that makes it illegal to let your chickens cross the road. In Quitman, Georgia, it is literally illegal for chickens to cross the road. Not a joke, not a meme, a real ordinance, meaning the world's oldest joke. Why did the chicken cross the road? Officially has a correct legal answer. It didn't, because it's a crime. If your chicken escapes and wanders across the street, you're suddenly running a poultry crime syndicate. Somewhere, a cop is writing a report that starts with "Suspect, 1 chicken, intent, unknown." This is the only town where owning free-range chickens turns you into the villain of a farm-themed heist movie. And the chickens? They're one step away from needing ankle monitors. 7. The state, where you can be fined for singing off-key. North Carolina once had a law making it illegal to sing loudly and off-key in public. Yes, your voice can be a crime scene. Someone in the legislature clearly endured one too many painful karaoke nights and said, "You know what? The Constitution has limits." Picture getting arrested because you attempted Whitney Houston with the confidence of an American Idol reject. The cop doesn't even need handcuffs. Your pitch already subdued the crowd. This is the only place where public singing requires both courage and legal representation. Remember, if you can't hit the notes, you might hit fines instead. Number 8. The town where you can't eat peanuts in church. In some parts of Massachusetts, it's illegal to eat peanuts in church. Apparently, nothing disrupts the spiritual atmosphere like the sacred crunch of a lightly salted legume. Legend has it, the law started because one guy kept sneaking snacks during long sermons, and instead of telling him to stop like a normal human, the town decided to legislate his mouth shut. Imagine getting fined mid-peanut chew because the pastor spotted you mid-crunch. Blessed are the quiet, for they will avoid a misdemeanor. It's the only place where salvation is free, but peanuts cost you in court fees. 9. The city where you can be arrested for wearing high heels. In parts of Santa Cruz, California, you can't wear high heels over a certain height without a permit. Why? To avoid lawsuits from people tripping over sidewalks and blaming the city. So yes, in this beach town, heels are contraband without paperwork. Picture someone getting frisked outside a boutique because their shoes look a little too ambitious. Ma'am, do you have a license for those stilettos? This is the only place where looking fabulous requires legal clearance. 10. The law that bans donkeys. From sleeping in bathtubs, Arizona has many strange laws, but this one is the crown jewel. Donkeys are forbidden from sleeping in bathtubs. The reason? Years ago, a donkey took a nap in an empty tub. A dam broke, the tub floated miles away, and the town had to rescue him like a confused four-hooved cruise passenger. Instead of upgrading the dam, lawmakers said, "Nope, the donkey is the problem." Now, somewhere in Arizona, a donkey is staring at a bathtub like a forbidden luxury. It's the only law that directly targets barnyard hygiene. 11. The state where you can't carry a fish in public if you're drunk. In Oklahoma, it's illegal to be intoxicated while handling fish, not while operating machinery, not while driving, while holding a fish. Apparently, someone once mixed tequila with trout and chaos followed. Imagine stumbling out of a lake with a bass in your hands and instantly becoming the star of the dumbest arrest report in state history. Subject appeared heavily intoxicated and belligerently affectionate toward one fish. This is the only crime where both you and the fish get evaluated for breathalyzer levels. 12. The town where you must have a permit to be a ventriloquist. In some quirky towns, ventriloquists need an entertainment license to perform in public, because apparently moving your mouth less is somehow more threatening. The rule was meant to control street performers, but it accidentally turned puppeteering into a regulated paranormal activity. Imagine applying occupation, voice projection specialist, equipment, wooden accomplice, risk level, high, possible emotional trauma to children. Some cities regulate fireworks. These regulate puppets with anxiety issues. Only here can a puppet technically be considered an unlicensed performer. 13. The city where whistling. After 11 p.m. is basically a crime. In parts of Hawaii, late-night whistling is forbidden, specifically after 11 p.m., when the island apparently transforms into a noise-sensitive grandparent. The law dates back to the belief that whistling at night attracts spirits, which is hilarious, because the only spirit you're actually summoning is your neighbor in pajamas threatening to call the cops. Imagine standing outside humming a tune when a police officer approaches and says, "Sir, I'm going to need you to stop serenading the universe." It's the only place where your lips have a curfew. 14. The state where it's illegal to hunt Bigfoot. In Washington, there is an actual law protecting Bigfoot. Yes, the legendary cryptid is legally recognized as endangered. You can't hunt him, chase him, trap him, or even attempt a Bigfoot-based misunderstanding. If you ever did see Bigfoot, your first thought wouldn't be, "Wow, a mythical creature." It would be, "Oh no, I'm dangerously close to a felony." Imagine explaining to a judge that you weren't hunting Bigfoot, you were just trying to hug him. Only in America can an animal we can't confirm have more rights than half the residents. 15. The town where you must ask permission before painting your house too bright. In some strict California suburbs, homeowners need special approval to paint their homes certain non-traditional colors. Neon green? Permit. Bright purple? Permit. A yellow so bright it can be seen from space? Probably a lawsuit. The HOAs claim it protects property values, but really, it just turns color palettes into prison sentences. Imagine submitting paperwork, diagrams, and swatches just to prove your house won't emotionally damage the neighbors. Some people fight for freedom, others fight for the right to own a turquoise front door. 16. The state, where it's illegal to tie a giraffe to a telephone pole. Georgia has a law banning you from tying a giraffe to a street pole or a lamppost, which raises two important questions. Who owned a giraffe? How many times did this happen before the government said enough? The best part? The law doesn't say you can't own a giraffe. It just says you can't park it like a bicycle. Imagine getting ticketed because your giraffe is blocking street signage. Sir, move your 18-foot mammal. People can't see the stop sign. Only here can your pet become a traffic hazard. 17. The city where you can be fined for letting your car warm up. In some US cities, idling your car in your driveway, just warming it up on a cold morning, is illegal. The logic, it reduces emissions and prevents theft. The reality, cops writing tickets to people wearing pajamas, holding coffee, and begging their vehicle to just defrost, please. Imagine being fined because the weather offended your car's engine and you tried to fix it. Everywhere else, warming your car is morning routine. Here, it's pre-breakfast environmental crime. 18. The state where you can't drive with a gorilla in the back seat. In Massachusetts, it's illegal to transport a gorilla in the back seat of your car. Front seat? Weirdly unclear. Trunk? Morally questionable, but legally also unclear. Which means someone at some point tried to take King Kong through downtown Boston like it was a casual CVS run. Lawmakers took one look at that chaos and said, "Okay, we need boundaries." Imagine getting pulled over. "Sir, do you know why I stopped you?" "No, officer. Your gorilla isn't wearing a seatbelt." Only in America do traffic laws include primate seating arrangements. 19. The town where it's illegal to roll a boulder down the street. In Boulder, Colorado, fittingly, it's a crime to roll a boulder down the street. Did someone try to reenact Indiana Jones? Were people casually downhill bowling with giant rocks? We may never know. The law basically says, if it can flatten a Prius, don't treat it like a bowling ball. Imagine the police report. Suspect attempted to exceed the speed limit using gravity and a rock. It's one of the few places where geology is considered a public safety threat. 20. The state where you can be arrested for falling asleep in a cheese factory. In South Dakota, it's illegal to lie down and fall asleep in a cheese factory. Not a regular factory, not a warehouse, only cheese. Which tells you exactly how many people must have napped in Parmesan before legislators snapped. Imagine being woken up by a worker yelling, "Sir, you're violating dairy protocol." This is the only state where cheddar comes with legal consequences. 21. The city where you need a license to share your Wi-Fi. Some cities have ordinances that classify sharing your home Wi-Fi as an unlicensed telecommunications act, meaning giving your neighbor the password turns you into a bootleg internet service provider. You're not being friendly. You're running a cybercrime startup out of your living room. Imagine getting a fine because Karen next door streamed Netflix using your bandwidth. Some towns regulate water. These regulate vibes traveling through the air. 22. The state where you can't sell your old mattress. In Washington, you can't sell a used mattress unless it's been officially sanitized, tagged, inspected, and labeled like it's a medical device, which is hilarious because everyone knows 90% of used mattresses look like crime scenes anyway. The idea was to prevent bedbug infestations. Noble goal, extremely dramatic execution. Imagine posting your mattress on Facebook Marketplace and getting a message saying, "Is this certified?" Certified for what? Emotional damage? Because absolutely. 23. The town that made it illegal to eat fried chicken. With Forks in Gainesville, Georgia, the self-proclaimed poultry capital of the world, eating fried chicken with a fork is technically illegal. They believe chicken should be honored properly, which apparently means grabbing it with your bare hands like a Renaissance barbarian. One woman was actually arrested as a joke in the 90s for breaking the rule during a town visit. Imagine being handcuffed while an officer says, "Ma'am, drop the fork." Only in Gainesville can table etiquette get you booked. 24. The state where you must keep your pigs. Happy. In Arizona, there's a law that makes it illegal to keep your pigs unhappy. Yes, animal welfare is important, but this one goes beyond health and safety. The law literally says pigs must be kept in a state of satisfaction. Imagine the inspection. Sir, your pig looks emotionally unfulfilled. What do you mean? He hasn't smiled once today. Fix it. Now you're out here singing lullabies to livestock because the government says your bacon must have good vibes only. 25. The town where you can be fined for forgetting your dogs. Birthday One small European village, in an attempt to fight animal neglect, passed the most unhinged rule. Pet owners must observe and honor their dog's birthday. Not feeding it, not vaccinating it, celebrating it. Miss a birthday? Pay a fine. Imagine your neighbor tattling to the authorities. I didn't see any balloons. Release the officers. This is the only place on earth where dogs get more birthday rights than your Uncle Gary. 26. The city, where it's illegal to wear a bulletproof vest. While committing a crime, New Jersey made it a separate offense to wear a bulletproof vest while committing a felony, meaning somewhere, someone committed a crime intelligently enough to put on protection. And lawmakers said, nope, that's too prepared. Picture getting arrested for robbery, and the cop hits you with an extra charge. And this is for wearing safety gear, you mastermind. Only here can your fashion choices become their own felony. 27. The state where you can't pump your own gas. In Oregon and parts of New Jersey, pumping your own gas is forbidden. Not discouraged, not frowned upon. Illegal. Why? Public safety. As if millions of people worldwide haven't mastered the complex art of squeezing a handle. You pull into a station, reach for the pump, and suddenly an attendant sprints at you like you're about to start a chemical explosion. It's the only place where filling your tank feels like you're violating sacred ancient rituals. 28. The town where you must get government approval to, swear. In certain English towns, public profanity is legally banned under civility orders, meaning your frustration must be pre-approved by the authorities. Drop your groceries, stub your toe, find your car scratched? Too bad. Keep it wholesome or face a fine. Imagine a cop materializing behind you after you whisper a swear word under your breath. Sir, we're going to need to discuss your vocabulary. It's the only place where the real crime isn't theft, it's colorful language. Which law wins the crown for peak stupidity? Cast your vote in the comments.